almost the end of October, and this is actually my most favorite month of the year because it's starting to cool down, but here in San Diego we're blessed with this amazing weather, so I'm able to continue to do my recordings outdoors. And well, supporting the charters, of course. And it's pumpkin season, so pumpkin everything everywhere. It's almost Halloween. We're going to SeaWorld this weekend. I'm excited to take my son trick-or-treating. Also, October is known as the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I wanted to shine some light on breast cancer awareness. I know from reading articles, and I read a lot, that breast cancer, or women with breast cancer, have an altered stress response. And what stress does is stress actually raises our cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. It releases a lot of cortisol into our blood. And of course, doing yoga is going to lower your cortisol levels and raise your GABA, which is known as nature's Valium. It's a chemical in the brain which naturally relaxes the nervous system and helps to calm down. Yeah, I said nature's Valium. It's kind of funny. My pose of the month that I decided to feature this month is the Malasana, or garland pose. It's a type of a yogic squat, and it's fairly easy to perform. However, if if you're a little bit older, you have an altered sense of balance, or flexibility or strength of the legs, you might not be able to squat. So I'm going to start by demonstrating the beginner's alternative that you can do. And technically, or normally, you'd probably do this in a chair, but so you would just sit down, you would open your thighs so that they're kind of the same way as they would be if you were squatting. Heels inward, toes out, and then you would just lean your torso down, and this would be the beginner's version, just looking down at the ground, releasing the lower back and feeling a stretch in the inner thighs here by bending down. So the actual pose itself, you're going to start standing and you're going to bring your feet slightly wider than your hips. Again, toes out, heels inward, bringing palms together, and then squatting down and sitting down. So your shoulders are broad, you're using your core, abs, and your back muscles to hold yourself upright, and then you have a neutral neck. I usually like to look down in this pose, so you're working your thighs, and generally I hold this pose from 30 seconds to a minute in my class, so for kind of a long time. It strengthens your core, your abdominals, and thighs and legs are definitely working here. A lot of the time in my class, I'll do a sequence where I'm standing up and sitting back down with some of my students, squatting and whatnot. Obviously, once you gain that strength in your legs, it's a lot easier to hold it for longer periods of time. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, okay, so the contraindications in this pose are obviously if you have any kind of spinal injuries or knee injuries because you're bending your knees. You want to take it up a notch for the advanced version. You don't have to, but I'll demonstrate it really quick before I go into talking about Mula Bandha. I'm doing a big feature on Mula Bandha, which is also known as the Kegel exercises this month. So in the advanced version, you're down here. You would bring your palms down, you go into crow pose, and it's a balance. So lift your tail feather, as I like to call it. Lift your tail feather and your feet off the ground and hold. So that's your crane pose. I can actually hold it for quite a while, but that takes a lot of upper body strength, a lot of arm strength and shoulder strength to do the advanced version. The Mula Bandha, or the root lock, it's actually stimulating the very same process that creates orgasm, and it might be not a very comfortable thing to discuss, but if you're a mature grown adult, you can understand the benefits. And so I'm just being real. The birth canal connects to the womb. For women, you're basically drawing up at the pelvic floor and squeezing. So the Malasana is actually the perfect pose when you're down here to practice this. So you would squeeze on the inhale and release in an exhale. So then it becomes kind of like a pulse, like the ocean tide. And so you would go into your Ujjayi breathing. And another technique that I learned in my class at the college is you can take one deep breath and hold the breath and practice Mula Bandha and squeeze and release as many times as you can. Or the best way to do it is in the garland pose and squeezing on the inhale and releasing on the exhale. So to me personally, this is a lot more than just a Kegel exercise. I think of the root chakra. So it's like a light. You're drawing the energy in from the bottom and allowing it to rise like this light that illuminates your spine. So I think of my scoliosis, which I have a spinal deformity, and I think of this as a healing experience because I'm drawing the energy from the earth and allowing it to enter my body and eliminate my spine and heal me from the inside out. Anyway, so that's that. I'll talk about men a little bit. So for men, I have my little cheat sheet again, sorry. So for men, it's basically a contraction. That's what it feels like. It feels like a contraction of muscles surrounding the perineal body, which is between the anus and the genitals. So for men, if you would like to sit on something like a pillow, or in yoga they use blocks, so you can sit on a block and have some kind of pressure on that area in between your legs, and that helps to place pressure on the area and stimulate contractions by applying the pressure. In men, the benefits of doing practicing Mula Bandha is it improves bladder control and sexual performance. Again, you're getting a stronger pelvic floor. In women, this strengthens the birth canal muscles and prepares your body for natural birth. So this is actually a technique that's taught in prenatal yoga classes. I did yoga all throughout my pregnancy, and I gave natural birth to my son. Popped him right out of my tiny little hips. And it's also recommended to women post-birth, because what it does is it naturally strengthens the muscle of the birth canal and it tightens them back up and restores them to pre-birthing condition. So anyway, that was my feature of the month: the Malasana pose, garland pose, crow pose, and Mula Bandha, also known as the Kegel exercises. Thank you so much for watching and following me. Hope everyone has a wonderful Halloween. Namaste.